It took U.S. President Donald Trump's personal intervention for the Cambodian and Thai authorities to understand that mutual aggression leads nowhere. Both parties are looking for an immediate ceasefire and peace. They are also looking to get back to the trading table with the United States, which we think is inappropriate to do until such time as the fighting stops. They have agreed to immediately meet and quickly work out a ceasefire and ultimately peace. People on both sides of the barricade breathed a sigh of relief. One conversation with President Trump was enough, and now we no longer have to be afraid, and both countries can stop shooting. We had to hide in this bunker for several days, but there was no other choice. We had to defend our homes. For several days, there had been regular exchanges of fire on the border between the two countries. Artillery, Air Force, drones, fatalities on both sides, tens of thousands of people evacuated. But the feuding countries were reconciled by the economy. Donald Trump set his conditions and we accepted them. We are grateful to the American president. Although both countries, which have been fighting over land and influence in border areas for over a century, have not yet laid down their arms, they are ready to negotiate so as not to lose the economic offer from Washington. The Americans will not trade with us if we do not stop fighting. After these words, I told President Trump that we would do everything we could to reach an agreement as soon as possible, ensure security, and then we could continue talks with the Americans. The Cambodian and Thai authorities quickly calculated that peace was in their best interest. Strengthening the economic and political partnership and consequently opening up to the possibility of larger financial benefits in the form of American investors flowing into these countries, American companies buying products in these countries, or simply American tourists coming to these countries. It must be admitted that Donald Trump is effective. Just a week ago, he stopped the bloodshed in southern Syria, where there were violent clashes on ethnic and religious grounds.
We've made a tremendous commitment there to stabilize Syria, and our special envoy, Ambassador Barak, is leading that. And of course, we know of that escalation. Clearly, we've been involved in addressing it.
Thanks to the efforts of the U.S. administration, most of the Israeli hostages kidnapped by Hamas have been brought home. Iran's nuclear and military ambitions have been pacified, as have the terrorist activities of the Houthis and Hezbollah. Washington's strong warnings are deterring Beijing from attacking Taiwan, and now it looks as if the fighting on the Cambodian-Thai border will cease. The success of Trump's international policy in many cases is the most basic thing, namely money. We can clearly see that rapid stabilization, a quick halt to hostilities, and at the same time agreeing to compromise proposals and negotiation proposals from the United States open up an opportunity for those countries involved in the peace process to improve their relation with Washington, D.C. The American leader is also still not giving up on his efforts to stop Russian barbarism in Ukraine.
The president has made that abundantly clear. He's losing his patience. He's losing his willingness to continue to wait for the Russian side to do something here to bring an end to this war that wasn't his war, but he wants to see it come to an end. You know, since January of this year,
during his election campaign, the Republican announced that he would strive for peace processes in many volatile regions of the world, and he is fulfilling his promise in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Eastern Europe. In several cities, Polish people are protesting against Poland's acceptance of illegal, dangerous immigrants, and the Polish government is announcing tough measures, not against migrants, but against the protesters. This 90-year-old man is a distinguished hero of the anti-communist underground who fought for a free Poland. On Saturday, he came to a legal and peaceful demonstration in Wałbrzych, but was still surrounded by the police. Sir, please talk to us for a moment. We need to check your ID. We just want to talk. You will not check my ID because you have no grounds to do so. In that case, I will accompany you home to ensure your safe return as a legitimate citizen of Poland. happened? Are you feeling unwell? Would you like an ambulance? Leave me alone. The police surrounded and then took down the details of all participants in the legally registered demonstration against mass, uncontrolled immigration. If a legal assessment is made, you will be summoned to explain the situation. If the legal assessment is that nothing happened, you will not be summoned. The organizer of the protest and leader of the border defense movement, Robert Bąkiewicz, assures that there was no need to use the services because the protesters behaved calmly. Of course, there were no grounds for taking these actions. I believe that there may be an attempt to take action against those who disagree with mass migration and those who are at this demonstration. Robert Bąkiewicz adds that, in his opinion, the police acted on political orders. This is a method that Donald Tusk and Kierwiński are about to fully implement, but we are not giving up. I hope that Polish people understand these shenanigans and the political dance of Tusk and Kierwiński, which is intended to destroy Polish patriotic initiatives, such as the border defense movement. Indeed, the newly appointed Minister of Internal Affairs and Administration, Marcin Kierwiński, threatened even before taking office that the police would not tolerate the border defense movement. As we can see, anti-immigrant demonstrations will not be tolerated either. Today in Wałbrzych, the police acted against Bąkiewicz's team in accordance with the law and procedures. No one will disrupt the Polish state. No one will create an alternative legal reality. There will be no turning back. Certainly not on the part of the December 13th coalition. There, the narrative comparing grassroots patriotic movements to nationalism and fascism prevails. If someone goes out in disguise and says that they have the right to stop vehicles and they are a private individual, then their place is in a cell on the same day, in custody, and from there they are taken to the prosecutor's office, which brings charges against them. But experts see it differently. The border defense movement does not stop anyone, does not control anyone. Its volunteers got under the skin of those in power because they revealed the shocking truth about illegal immigration, which the vast majority of Poles oppose. The brutal police actions against demonstrators who are organizing against illegal immigration are caused by the fact that Tusk has no other answer, no other idea of how to respond to a situation where this is becoming an increasingly real problem, and where this problem affects not only law and justice voters, but in fact everyone, including the civic platform voters. Hence the attempts to block further referendum initiatives, after Tusk convinced his voters to boycott the vote on mass immigration in 2023. I solemnly invalidate this referendum. Now, local civic coalition activists are asking him to invalidate referendums organized in smaller and larger cities in Poland. We have two referendums, and we would like these referendums not to take place, including referendums on the Integration Center for Foreigners, which are completely unfounded. It's difficult, so I would also like to invite the Prime Minister to Piotrków.
Poważna sprawa w tym referendum.
This referendum is a serious matter. I have received information that Mr. Nawrocki is also planning many referendums. For now, I will find a way to prevent him from having his way. As long as we have a parliamentary majority, and as long as I am Prime Minister, it will be in accordance with the Constitution. The President has his place. It is beautiful, those chandeliers and so on. Referendums, alongside elections, are one of the most important and effective tools of democracy. However, in order for them to be binding on politicians, more than half of those eligible to vote must participate. No referendum, no anti-immigrant protests, but Tusk is supposed to appear as the one who is in control of the situation. He is not in control, because Polish people see what is happening and are signing en masse for a referendum on mass migration. Here in Garwolin, near Warsaw, about 1,300 people have signed. Residents of the county are taking forms and collecting more signatures in their towns. The residents and visitors of Garwolin County have been waiting for us since this morning and have not let us leave, because every now and then someone would come and ask us to stay a little longer. We would like to thank everyone for the extraordinary, positive, and patriotic conversations, and we promise that anyone who wants to sign will have the opportunity to do so. Contrary to government propaganda, the border defense movement can also count on the support of Polish people. Some sign up to participate in on patrols. Others donate money to purchase equipment. 18,000 lumens, powerful equipment with very good reviews. We took 6 of them, and I am currently transporting 4 to the boys at the border. We have camera traps, a whole bunch of batteries, and we have whole sets of walkie-talkies, which will also come in handy. There are also the previously announced banners and leaflets with warnings in several languages that illegal immigrants are not welcome in Poland, and information about where they can seek help in our country, along with the addresses of the offices of civic platform politicians.
Jest właściwy adres do jej biura poselskiego.
22 people injured, including a 12-year-old boy, is the toll from the shelling of Kharkiv, Ukraine, on Saturday morning. Located near the border with Russia, Ukraine's second-largest city is regularly attacked by the Russians. In an earlier air raid on a civilian neighborhood in Kharkiv, 2 people were killed and more than 30 were injured. I was in bed asleep. I heard a loud bang, the sound of breaking glass, people screaming. When I looked around, I saw all the destruction, smoke, people running away. The house was filled with black smoke. The smell of burning was everywhere. On Thursday, the Russians used UMPB-5s, a new type of gliding bomb, weighing about 250 kilograms each, for the first time to shell Kharkiv. We know that the enemy, the Russian army, using tactical aviation, dropped 2 UMPB-5 aerial bombs. One of them hit the regional tuberculosis hospital. At that time, there were 13 patients and 15 employees there. On Saturday night, the Russian army attacked Ukraine using 235 drones and 27 missiles. 3 people were killed in the air raid in and around the city of Dnipro. Russia is intensifying its attacks, and last month was the bloodiest for Ukraine since the start of the war.
The daily barrage of Russian missiles and drones against Ukrainian cities and towns has continued to intensify with devastating consequences for the civilian population. According to the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, OHCHR, in June, civilian casualties in Ukraine reached a 3-year high.
The Russians claim to have captured more towns, Zeleny High in the Donetsk region and Maliyivka in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Added to this is the siege of the city of Pokrovsk, and the Sumy region was attacked 4 times on Saturday alone. Russia's goal is becoming increasingly clear, meaning the Kremlin knows that there will be pressure for a ceasefire. Of course, it is possible to keep postponing the ceasefire, to lie to the Americans, to try to evade the issue. But Russia does not have infinite resources either. Now is the last moment when, first of all, we have a weather window, and secondly, we have the 50 days that Trump has given us. In other words, Putin believes that he will bring Ukraine to its knees. Donald Trump has indeed given the Russian dictator a 50-day ultimatum to end the war. However, when asked if he sees the possibility of imposing sanctions earlier, he replied that he does not rule it out. This includes so-called secondary sanctions, tariffs on goods from countries importing Russian oil, which would amount to 100%. But that's not all. The U.S. Department of Defense has approved the sale of military equipment to Ukraine. Its value is over $300 million. This is the first such agreement approved by Donald Trump. The equipment to be purchased by Kiev includes Bradley infantry fighting vehicles and Hawk air defense systems, which have already proven themselves on the battlefield. This is the next stage of pressure, given that so far it has not been effective in bilateral relations between Putin and Trump. I would also like to remind you that Putin has not been entirely clear in his stance on Iran and the Palestinian issue. He is trying to interfere with Trump in this Indo-Pacific theater, so Trump has kept these powerful negotiating tools for himself. And now the moment has come. Has the moment also come for a meeting and peace negotiations between Zelensky and Putin? Turkey is ready to organize them. The Kremlin, however, rejects this proposal. In the upcoming process, perhaps this week, through renewed telephone conversations with Putin and also with Donald Trump, we will strive to bring these leaders together in Istanbul. The president of Turkey announced that Donald Trump has confirmed his participation in peace talks between the leaders of Ukraine and Russia, of course, if they take place at all.